Before I explain how you can do that more effectively, I need to define some terms. We all know what recycling means, right? It's converting things that have been thrown away into a product or material that can be reused. In other words, instead of just getting rid of something because it's no longer useful, we turn it into something else that is useful. But if we're going to recycle more effectively, we need to understand two new terms: downcycling and upcycling, and how they differ. In my book, I define downcycling as changing something through the process of recycling into a product that is less valuable in some way than the original item or material. Well, let me give you an example. Take a typical plastic water bottle, the kind that we use once and then toss out. When thousands of such bottles are recycled, they are typically melted down to form a plastic that is a hybrid or mix of lower quality than the original plastic. This is downcycling because the material, the recycled plastic, is lower quality than the original material and so has less value. I'm sure I don't need to spell this out, but most of what we think of as traditional recycling is in fact downcycling. In contrast, there's upcycling, which we can understand most easily as being the opposite of downcycling. Instead of recycling something in a way that makes it less valuable, we reuse it in such a way that we create more value from it. Again, an example. Take those plastic water bottles. Instead of melting them down to produce low-quality plastic, why not turn them into something practical, such as pots for houseplants? Or turn them into something attractive, like a work of art? Before I give you more examples of how to use upcycling to protect our planet, I want to clarify something. From what I've said so far, you might be thinking that I prefer upcycling to downcycling, and you'd be right. But please, don't think that this means downcycling is of no benefit. In fact, downcycling has many benefits for the environment. For one thing, it allows us to use materials again and again, which means we use fewer resources and raw materials, we use less energy, we produce less pollution, and so on. And for another thing, downcycled materials can be reused in ways that make them useful or that add value. For example, the low-quality plastic from recycled water bottles can be turned into park benches, which are certainly useful items. Before I go on, does anybody have any questions?
Yes. Excuse me, Adam, but will you be talking about pre-cycling at all this evening?
Pre-cycling is it's something I cover in my book, but I won't be talking about it tonight. Actually, looking around the room, I can see some surprised faces, so let me explain it briefly. For those of you who don't know, some people use the term pre-cycling when they talk about making the decision not to buy something that will have to be recycled. So, for example, the simplest act of pre-cycling is not buying something that you really don't need. For me, I already have 4 or 5 pairs of jeans in my closet, so I could probably pre-cycle by not buying another pair for the next few years. And when I do shop for clothes, I could pre-cycle by choosing items that are very good quality, because these items would last for a long time before I need to recycle them. Another way to pre-cycle is to buy something that you can share with others. For example, a book. If there's a book I want to read, I find out which of my friends are also interested, and we agree to buy just one copy and share it. So that's pre-cycling, and you can read more about it in my book. Okay?
Sure. Thanks.
Okay. Now, let me inspire you, I hope, with some exciting examples of upcycling.